Yo, what's up? Percy here. Just wanted to throw this in really quickly before this video starts. This was recorded last Sunday, a little bit before. I wanted to get this out before Monday Night Raw, but didn't turn out that way. So how we're talking in this video is resembling of last Sunday. And yeah, this is a little long, so I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, let's get right into it.
That's a Pat part of it, but like it's The Rock.
Yeah. But at this point, like I don't even know if that saves it,
No,
honestly.
I'm just saying that would be like the realistic. That would be the quote unquote best save for this is that it's just part of it. It's The Rock pulling the strings, and The Rock she shows up once in a while and not once, and then disappears for 2 years. Like, I mean, what else could there be to save this now? Especially since some of the creative team, Triple H didn't want to do it, but kind of had to okay it. He didn't want to do it. The creative team didn't want it. People backstage didn't want to do it. This is confirmed. What Cody did was Triple H and the writing team directed him to go out there and shoot. Why he said what he said about the company and
Wait,
like,
so,
what
so,
are you gonna
so
do?
if no,
Fire me? Yeah,
but if no one wanted to do it, hypothetically speaking, then how the heck who passed it?
it was direct. It was directly ordered, and Triple H in the moment kind of had to okay it. And then once it shit the bed and the online shit was bad and people were leaving the arena and everything was negative, they flipped the script in the arena. Triple H had Cody go out and shoot.
Hmm.
What he
Yeah,
said
I guess
about
that's fair.
KO, and he kind of hinted at you know Ari and Nick Khan and whatever, and he was like, "What are you gonna do? Fire me?" Look what that didn't work out well for you last time. That was pure shoot. It was not scripted
Yeah.
at all. There was no bullet points. It was just like, go shoot. We're not happy about this.
Hmm.
Because like in the moment, Triple H had to okay it basically, like it came from the top. I guess Triple H was like, you know, maybe thought like lose the battle, win the war, kind of like the thing with where Cody. It wasn't going to be Cody and Roman 2 years ago. Like, lose the battle, win the war. Like live to fight another day. Like deal with it in the moment. The they have more power. Can't really, you know, because in theory, if Triple H went ballistic and said absolutely fucking not, he could have been fired last night or two nights ago, and hypothetically, if they really wanted it that bad and there was no convincing them otherwise, Triple H could have been gone because he refused. But in the moment, it was kind of like probably just rolled his eyes, said fine, and then it instantly shit the bed, and he's like, all right, people are pissed in the arena. The talent's pissed. The writing team's pissed. He's probably upset. Cody's pissed. I'm sure Randy's not all that thrilled about it, but Randy's not quite as vocal. And they were like, okay, we're going to pivot. And it was like basically said, Cody, go there and say whatever you want to say. There's no script here. This is not story. Just go out there and one of the better Cody promos since he's come back to WWE.
Mm,
I'd say it's the best. I'd say it's one of since he's been back.
yeah. I mean, it's
It
hard. It's
was
hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge it because it's one of those like. It's one of those like improv. Like, obviously, it was impromptu, so I mean, it actually like it mattered like a lot
it was
more in the grand
shoot,
scheme of
but
things.
it
Yeah.
was and it was shoot, but in a small way. If you take Pat out of the equation, I hope they do. But if you take Pat out of the equation, besides it being a shoot, it's the kind of promo cut Cody should cut, kind of attitude he should have in this feud leading into this match, where it seems like he's cracking and he's losing it. where he's starting, because he literally said it in the promo, where he's starting to hear the voices and you don't like what they'd have to say. That almost plays into the story where they could at least use that in the next 2 weeks if they don't completely
Yeah.
like call an audible and like and pivot, which they need to do. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but if I hope they do. But that plays in the whole pre-Pat story where, like, if Cody wants to beat this version of Randy, even though this version of Randy is quote unquote diabolical but watered down because they won't let him do the shit that he did
Yeah, I'm about to
before
say
to
like
actually.
it's really not that much different than what, you know.
I mean, they could still have him do stuff that's diabolical, but within the idea of like not bloodying people up so much every week and not putting his hands on women and
Yeah, but
although
that's the thing. It's like unless Brandy's coming out and taking an RKO before WrestleMania, I don't think there's really anything outside of just
I mean they could,
erasing what happened last
I
Friday
don't
that
know,
could
like
save
the
it.
tried and true, like maybe he for storyline like breaks into the tour bus and scares Brandy and like goes to their home and like breaks into their home and like stalks their shit and acts kind of creepy, but not like in a sexual way, but like just kind of creepy, and or he sets the bus on fire, not the real bus, but he sets the bus on fire or something like that. That's diabolical ish and evil, but not necessarily doesn't necessarily go of what like TKO would allow as far as like too much.
Yeah, but that's the
Because
thing
that's
though. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like it's counterintuitive when you really think about like the fundamentals of like what the whole promo was. Because if you think about it, promo wise, we could kind of sit here and say, oh yeah, Pat was spitting because in theory it's like, oh yeah, WWE has been trash. Like they have been booking things in a really like
and that's
terrible way.
like
But
I said it like I said to you Friday, and a lot of people have said, and they've said the exact same words: perfect message, wrong messenger.
yeah, or not even that like wrong messenger, but also at the same time, it's like cutting a promo like that, knowing you're not going to change what your product consists of, is the most redundant thing you could ever do because everybody knows they're not going to change anything. Like they're not doing anything different at all. Like Pat's going to cut the promo, and next Friday, Danhausen's getting another segment. Like there's going to be more goofy shit that goes on. So it's not even like a oh yeah we're going to revert back to what made people
Well,
love the company.
of course not. If part of the story was that they at least tried and they kept getting cut off, because even in the heyday of the Attitude Era, with all of the shit they got away with, there was still goofy shit on there too.
Yeah, like the only thing they really censored was certain words in like the DX flashing segments, which obviously made sense because I mean you can't show that on like free TV, like that's just insane. But like as far as like the only thing that they really do that's like quote unquote like against the grain is like the women just randomly throwing like bitch in their like promos for like cheap pops. That's the only thing that like they go against the
Yeah,
grain on.
they're not as scantily clad, and occasionally they let a curse word fly. But even Netflix is kind of slowed down on letting that go because
Yeah,
it's not like they're gonna say shit or bullshit or asshole. They even let the asshole was fine in the Attitude Era on USA all
yeah,
the time. But like even Netflix like seems to limit how many times they say it, or they know beforehand who's saying it and how many times they
yeah. Or
say
it's
it, and then they
like
let it fly to a point.
yeah, or it's like when
But
like after the
USA
live
Network,
broadcast is over, they cut them. Like they censor
USA
out the punk
Network let
segment.
USA Network let it fly last night.
Oh, as far as wait, what segment
Except
was
for
it?
Pat saying motherfucking,
Yeah,
because Pat said motherfucking. They bleeped that.
yeah,
I heard shit multiple times, and they didn't bleep it.
yeah. But yeah, it's like
It was leading to
very it's
some.
hard to gauge.
It was leading to some sort of like old school versus new school or something along those lines type of thing, where like there's a group within the company that wants to go back to the your days, the not corporatized, where things that got advertised, and it's all about just the wrestlers and what goes on in that reality instead of old school, new school. People could get behind that, and that could be make for interesting TV. But even if that was the case, that was the worst way to start it because it was the wrong person to do it.
But even then, it's like even if they tried to do like old school
And
versus new school, how would they do it?
point, it would have to be some sort of storyline where somebody on air was perceived to have actual power within the parent company where it could do certain things and the company couldn't stop them or get rid of them. It would be believable enough. And realistically, the only person that could conceivably do that is The Rock. Because when The Rock shows up, The Rock doesn't give a fuck about TKO's mandate about what he does or what he says, because when he comes out, he lets it fly. Especially Final Boss Rock, he lets it fly and doesn't give a shit about the company or their mandates. He lets it fly, and they don't catch everything because he's motherfucking fucking all this is just like that's the only English words in English language he knows sometimes when he's out there, and they don't catch it all, and he's just free to do what he wants. So if they wanted to go that kind of a route, the person that could spearhead it is him because he is on the board. So it would be believable that he had power and he could do whatever he wanted. Company's wishes. Well, Pat thing was basically like Pat's one of his guys, at least on TV, and then Pat would have to appear more and like I throughout, like maybe he on one of the shows or occasionally is on one or the other, where he's like mandated by The Rock to be like third member of the commentary team, and he's straight heel. And he's just wild as shit, and he has to be believed all the time because he is just attitude era of foul mouth running it constantly, and just with a little bit of that as JBL feel where he's just running down everybody he doesn't like.
Yeah, but also like to be completely like transparent here, right? As far as like the way that like it's kind of like taken like this kind of like detour to kind of like go into like a bigger direction. Would that kind of be seen as like part of like one of the problems in like the Triple H like writing scheme? Because like say like a few like Cody and Randy, Punk and Roman have had less interactions within the last 10 years that are being like more so brought up, like as far as like Punk's training, like getting trained by I think Roman's dad or something, and not really like or like him not really liking him while he was training him, so he didn't really care about him that much. Like they're giving more lore to a story that basically started off of Roman being replaced as to Roman replacing somebody in a group that Punk created. They put more lore into that than Cody and
And
like Cody and Randy. It's
a
kind
lot
of
of
crazy
people
to me.
a lot of people are forgetting about the fact that during Roman's reign, no pun intended, that he repeatedly ran. They had to create that title, championship, because Roman had the actual undisputed champ title, wasn't around all the time, and didn't defend it very often. So and then Roman himself ran that title down like it's the number two. It's like basically the bullshit second prize title, and now all of a sudden he wants it
Yeah, it's
because it
like
means something.
yeah,
But
or
then,
not even
but
or
that's
not
not
even
even
that
like
like or not even it means something, but it's like more or less. I think more or less with that is like they kind of just wrote it off as like okay, Roman might not really care about this title, but he doesn't want Punk to feel like he's important. So in that case, I kind of let it slide because I mean, in that case, it's like Roman just like
fair.
yeah, like out of pure disdain, he's like, I don't want to see you win a championship. You with a belt is an embarrassment, and you can let that slide. But it's like as far as Cody and
And
Randy, they have like 20 years worth of lore. Like even like from when Cody first started, Randy was beating up Dusty. to them then joining a stable, Cody helping him do dastardly things. Shoot,
Yeah,
even the
it's
authority angle. Like Randy got Cody fired. Not legitimately, but the first time he got Cody fired because he beat him in a match. It's like there's so much lore that's there for them, but they're like trying to be like, oh yeah, let's spice it up. Let's throw Pat in here. And then it detours into other things that takes the focus off of two of the more pivotal pieces on SmackDown. And I feel like at that point it gets kind of like foggy where like even like the Rhea and Jade situation. Why does Io not have her own story going into Mania? Why does she only have to help Rhea going into Mania? At least that's what I'm at least like
but, see,
at the current moment.
but, but the irony is that she had a subplot even this entire time with Asuka and Kairi that has been building, and they seems like
Yeah, they're pivoting. And it's like it's an unnecessary pivot.
Friday was a complete clusterfuck that fucked up a whole bunch of shit.
Exactly, because now at this point it's like, and even like the Asuka Io story has technically been building for like even longer than the last couple months. That's been building for like a year, like a full
Right, but I
blown
mean,
year.
but getting more blatant to the point where it's like, okay, well, Asuka and Kairi are gonna throw down, or Asuka and Io are gonna throw down, and Kairi's gonna see the light,
Yeah,
and then they
like
kind of
to clear
the
it up a
other
little
way.
bit.
Carmelo,
Oh yeah, Mello for sure got fucked. Like there's
they
no other
better,
way around that.
they better. I
I
mean,
don't,
they
I don't,
better.
I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't think they're doing the insertion because if you think about it, if they left him off the card, and if you think about it, him and Ilya were carrying the brand for I don't know how long with open challenge matches, and then they recently were doing promos where it's like, oh, like Ilya was having like more character development, and now all of a sudden it's like, all right, bet, well, Trick's getting over, so we have to put him on Mania. Then we
We
feel like
haven't
we have
even
to be compelled to give him a belt.
we haven't even seen Ilya, but Carmelo is like quote unquote like the future guy. He should be there. I mean, I'd even take him as a consolation prize. I'd even take him being in a ladder match.
But the IC one,
Yeah,
I mean, I would get it,
like
but it's like,
like if but like play it on TV. Like if he deserves a match, but then Aldous is like, well, this is already set, but here's what I can do. I'll give you a match like this week. I'll give you a match, and if you win, you can be in the Intercontinental title ladder match, WrestleMania, which he could kill in, and then people could be like, oh, Carmelo could win the Intercontinental title, and Carmelo could end up on Raw, even though he probably won't. But
but
I would
also
take
at
it
that
as a
point, but also at that point, they already kind of have like they already have kind of like a here. I was gonna say something crazy, like I was like, well, you know what I'm going to like a here nigga damn type of thing. They already have one of those in Rusev because genuinely, I don't know why he's in that ladder match and like in the most respectful way possible. I don't know why he's in it. Like
I
like
don't either.
like
But you know
like.
they're gonna add anywhere between 1 to 3 more people to that match.
But who
So
else could?
I would
But who else could they throw in that would make sense though? Like I mean, I know El Grande could probably be thrown into it if they don't have anything like AAA related for him to do.
well
Because
it
technically, him and Penta were
depends.
tweeting, we're going at it on Twitter because El Grande was like he
Well,
was upset he wasn't in it. So
I mean, technically, either Americano if they're not because obviously they're not getting a one-on-one.
yeah,
Either one of them would
they're not
be
doing it in America, at least from what I heard.
okay. Well, the mask versus mask. No,
No, like just
Kaiser's a
just them in general. Like I think they said like if they were to do it, it would probably be like in Mexico because
well. That's
they'll get
weird
more
because
response in Mexico than they would in the
that's
states.
kind of because Kaiser's Americano is wildly over in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, like he's over in Mexico and they hate Gable's version in Mexico. So like if they
Right.
actually did it, like
I don't be
the
shocked.
response, yeah.
Don't be shocked if one person added is Vikingo.
Well,
Because the week
Vikingo's
before
already getting a
he
match
had,
though. So depending on if
he's
he
getting a
gets,
match.
yeah, if he gets screwed over, then I can see both of them getting added, and then that's probably it. So it's like I can see
I
that
don't know.
being the case.
I don't know. Maybe.
But actually, I think that match was that match like next week or not next week, but this week, like later on in the week, something like that.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Yeah. So I could definitely see if anything Vikingo and El Grande get added to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. But it's like in the case of it's like I don't know. It's just like the writing for this whole like Mania run has just been like very, very. The matches that have plot armor are matches that people really don't care about, and then the matches that people are kind of like, oh yeah, this should be something that I really want to like sit down and enjoy. They fuck up the story each and every week, and it's like at this
except
point,
except for Brock and Over. That's been perfect, pretty much.
even then that story's starting to get a little bland to me. It's like they like as far as like I get Oba's getting good reactions. I love that for him. I get it. But how many times are they going to do Brock shows up, Paul Heyman talks, Brock's tired of talking, Oba struts to the ring for 5 minutes, guards come out because they want to protect the money, and then they just don't do anything. Either they're both gonna have to actually talk, like no Heyman middleman, and like no just I want to put hands on him. Like either they're gonna have a promo, or you're gonna have to put Oba in a match to like make it make more sense to be like, oh, Brock attacked him
Well,
after a
yeah, they have
match.
to. I mean, tomorrow they have to do something where they speak, and
Yeah,
they
like,
have to
yeah, like speak and then throw down, and then Brock has to look
put
good
throw
because he
down,
hasn't looked good.
put
He hasn't
throw
looked good in
down,
three
and
weeks.
then throw down, and but not hate to say it, but not have Obo come out on top again.
Yeah, which would be fair at this point. I think people would understand that because like the first two meetings, like
Well,
to confirm the
not even
match.
for
Yeah,
that, not even just for the understanding part, but just because like the for the people who know, it's like, well, if Oba keeps getting the best of him, that just means Brock's gonna win at Mania, so it takes away
exactly.
from excitement.
Yeah, like
So
2 weeks, like 2 weeks in a row, Oba looked good. Fair enough. The next 2 weeks is gonna have to be Brock looking good, and then maybe like heading into the go home show is a stalemate. Like you break them up with like a brawl or something, and then
yeah,
kind of like what they did with Undertaker with the streak.
they
Like
should have
yeah.
they should have their segment should be they both talk, although Brock's not gonna because he doesn't do that, but Brock can sell shit.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have security in the ring, and they brawl anyway, and Brock gets a shot on Oba, and either takes him out of the ring, knocks him down, one German, something like gets catches him with something, so it looks like Brock this time, and then the last Monday they have another confrontation, or they just straight up attack each other without a pre-known segment. Like, okay, this is happening on tonight's show. It's just Brock. You see Brock's there, you see Oba's there, and at some point, just randomly, one of them comes out, and then the other one comes. No words. They come up. It's just a fight, and Oba gets F5'd.
Yeah.
And then you're going into Mania going, okay, for those who want Oba to win, they can believe Oba should win, and hopefully he does. But then again, it's like, oh, it's dead even. So it's like now we really have to watch because it's like
Anybody can win
they're
at
going
this
to
point.
play into each other for 10, 12 minutes or how long they get. But it's like people don't really just like, okay, well, Brock's going to win. Not necessarily. Or, well,
Right.
Oba's definitely going to win. It's just straight booking logic.
Yeah. And I feel like there hasn't been like respectfully, I'm not gonna lie because I watched like Stand and Deliver. Um,
We can agree. I think we can agree that as far as the the however many you want to say there are, the biggest matches on the Mania card, the one that's been built the best has been Oba and Brock. I'm not saying flawlessly, but it's probably the best build is probably that. It's got the most hype.
I mean, most hype, yes. Build wise, hmm.
mean, Roman and Punk aren't really going hard at each other. They're not really going too deep. And how many times can you get like brawls and somebody gets put through a table before it's like, what else you got? I'm not
I mean,
saying
yeah,
the
but
build
yeah,
is bad.
yeah, but also like what also with that is like before they started getting to all the like both of them getting mangled, they did have a lot of promo work. And the only problem I had with that was like the Usos being involved because the Usos literally had no direction the entire time. That was the only part that I didn't like. But as far as like the whole like oh,
But
and
it
the
did
old
add,
part, yeah,
it did add a little something of like where people could talk like, oh, are they going to help Roman? Are they going to turn on him? Are we getting? Is the bloodline coming back? Is it not? At least it was
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then last week the Usos lost the tag titles, and that was it. No
Yeah,
sign of them again.
yeah. Which at that point it's like I guess you can say with like the continuation of like Roman saying like this is his business, which in theory it is. So I mean, like that first encounter of them like kind of like overstepping and Jay trying to defend the family, it's like all right, bet like now focus on you getting your belts back because this ain't got nothing to do with you right now. It's like I get
But
that part. They can still come in, but at that point it makes a little bit more sense. But it's like I feel like Open and Brock obviously. I mean, they're gonna like get the money off of it. But if anything, realistically, I just feel like they could have really had like a really more flushed out card if they went with a mix of like what they're doing right now as far as like some of the matches are good like Punk and Roman I can live with. Randy and Cody, I hate how they got there and why they did it,
the,
but I mean,
the match, I'm not worried about what the match will be though. Like the
I don't know
in ring.
that match might be mid. I'm not gonna hold you. Like at this point, like because even it's like even like the match that I've been seeing recently, like I'm not even like saying this as a Randy hater, but I don't think this match is gonna be like anywhere near the undercard for WrestleMania. And granted, it's gonna be the main event for night two, maybe, but or night two, I think at least. But
You
it's like
don't think
it's not gonna draw that much
you don't
power.
think they could pull off? You don't think they could pull the vibe minus the street fight aspect that Cody and Cena had?
I don't think it's
Minus the
there.
street fight part. You don't
Because
think they could pull
I
the
mean,
vibe?
because I feel like with the Cena match, as much as like I feel like the Cena match has so much aura to it as far as like Cena's heel run. They tried making it work. We got some really good promos out of it. It was some really good like work going into it, and then the match itself was like pretty much everything Cena said he was gonna do played out in that match. As far as like he was, there were certain times where like he just wasn't even wrestling, or he was doing the complete opposite of what the fans
Well,
wanted. Like he did a lot of things differently.
I was referring more to when Cena turned back and they got the rematch. Something
Or
like
it's probably
that.
later in the.
The SummerSlam.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like
I
that
think
was
they
more or
could
less like
copy the vibe minus the street fight aspect. I think they could copy the vibe of it.
I mean, they could have if it wasn't if they didn't do this whole pat shit and the whole like voices and phone calls. I feel like if anything, if they had just gave us heel Randy like just flat out like no new age version of it. No, he's hearing voices and they're saying they're telling him to do bad things. It's like if they just had just gave us heel Orton, I would have had more faith in it. But it's
Well, the
like
problem,
they spun it
but
around so like drastically.
I don't really have a problem with the phone call and somebody like who knows Randy and what Randy would really have to do to get the 15th title. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. And obviously, Pat wasn't what the writing team had in mind for it, but the company stepped in and that's what we got. Chances are, at the
Yeah,
end of the day,
yeah,
that's not what we would have got. Would have been, oh,
yeah. But if anything, like to
sorry.
your point, like as far as Cena, right? Don't you kind of think that this is like a watered down version of what they tried to do with Cena last year, as far as not completely, but as far as like okay, or Cena wanted to break the record, he got desperate. He supposedly was supposed to be the Rock's guy with Travis Scott until a whole bunch of stuff hit the fan. Randy, in this case, wants number 15. He's very desperate. Got a phone call, and in this case, it's the more watered down Disco Inferno version where Pat McAfee comes out and apparently wants it to be 2007 or 2005. Like
and
it's kind of in the same realm to me.
and he's the one who convinced Randy to be that Randy again
Exactly. When Pat
and
wasn't
get the
even
job
Pat
done.
like Pat wasn't even there in wrestling for that. Like when Randy Orton was probably at his peak, Pat McAfee was kicking footballs. Respectfully, he was punting footballs when Randy was at his most dastardly form.
I mean, you could have, they could have even done something
I would have rather had I would have rather they had Bob.
but well,
Ted,
no,
you
I'm
had
not
Ted
saying like what
DiBiase.
happened
Like you had a
Friday, but you
lot.
could have even had help further the turn without doing what he did by like say I'd having Randy on a show and Pat talking about the good old days and what Randy used to be like and how much he loved that and how
Oh,
how
like setting
diabolical
the
he was and
table
blah
of
blah blah
like
blah blah. And then
yeah
you see like Randy in character kind of going like getting like this twitch like it taps something in him like maybe you might be right. Maybe like he's one of the cogs, one of the I'm saying like he's a spoke in the
yeah
wheel that furthers it along, but not that. And then ultimately he's on the phone with somebody who knows him and was knows what he was like, experienced what he was like, and that's the person that put him over the top and supports him in it. And you get your reveal, all good, and nobody cared. Nobody's hating on Pat, and it's and could even be involved afterwards
yeah
in some way, shape, or form, and nobody would bat an eye, and everybody would like, okay,
yeah.
makes
But
sense.
it also to me, I feel like at this point, like
It
I feel
led
like
to the inevitable.
yeah
It could have led to the inevitable where he heals it up on TV and is on Orton's side, and then you have someone like Jelly Roll who's not going to be. He's probably going to be on Cody's side because I have a feeling Clash is going to be Cody and Jelly against Randy and Pat, unless they completely pivot and erase Pat altogether. That's what's going to end up happening. But something you could have pushed down the line and done, and nobody would an eye at it, and nobody would be like, "What the hell is this shit?" It would just be like, "Oh, okay, it makes sense. We don't
yeah
love it, but it makes sense. Fine."
yeah. But it's like even in this case, it's like I feel like, and I think this might be like it's like no offense to, like Bad Bunny because I feel like his inclusion in like the celebrity aspect of it, he kind of brought back the feel of like okay, he was involved in a story with two guys that weren't really doing anything. Like Priest was, I think Priest was a champion, but it was like him getting involved in like what was it like Miz and who was it? It was Miz and who that they had the match with. Oh, Miz and Morrison at that time, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, like I think like when they got involved with that, it was like neither of those guys were doing anything. It was kind of like Bad Bunny
It's
was
fun.
training. Yeah, he took it seriously, and the match was good. It's like now I feel like they're just like bringing in celebrities that, even though they might want to be included, they still have to think about what they're including them in. It's like Cody and Randy doesn't need jelly rolls and Pats and
No,
it doesn't need that. And I feel like at that point, like they're getting, like I said, like I think we talked about like a while ago, they're getting desperate for social media boom post of like 5 million or more views, and getting away from the fact of like, hey, we have lots of lore here. Why do we have to keep adding outside people for
and it's
basically
just
at home talent?
and now it's an overabundance of it where it's like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe fans of all of these guys will watch the show because they're on it, even if they're not necessarily wrestling fans. They'll watch the show, but on it. But
are
Jelly
they gonna?
Roll,
Yeah, are they gonna care? Like I don't think I don't think guys are gonna like
Show
realistically like
Speed, they're not selling 10,000 tickets to each night of WrestleMania just because be there, or they might
yeah,
be in the ring or something. It's not happening.
exactly. And it's like really it's like throughout this entire week it's been Jelly Roll. You had Pat McAfee. You had Speed. You had Little Yachty. Um,
You might have Tom Brady.
yeah, I'm about to say Tom Brady is still looming. I hope not. But it's like there's literally too much going on, and it's getting away from It's getting away from just wrestling in general. It is like not to sound like a mark or anything, but WrestleMania doesn't even feel like this. Feels like SummerSlam in the middle of April. This is like some SummerSlam New York shit you pull when you want to bring out
Like
celebrities and
this feels like some kind of like throwaway, you know, week of
yeah.
TV that involves a lot of celebrities just because they're involved. They want to be involved and they're in the area that celebrities are in that
Yeah.
particular moment. They're involved in something,
Yeah, I think that's
or a
yeah.
throwaway old school older pay-per-view PLE, whatever it is, like a throwaway PLE that happens to be 14 matches in 2 nights, and there's just a lot of celebrity involvement.
Exactly. Because like I think I don't know if you've seen the I think like Lil Yachty made a tweet. I guess he was like I guess a lot of people have been like hating on his appearance and everything. And it's like not even to
Nothing wrong.
yeah, not to discredit
It's
him.
just
Like his segment was fine.
it was the accumulation of all the other shit, and
Exactly.
he's blowback from it. But when in reality,
Yeah, if anything, he's like one of the only like celebrity inclusions this month that I haven't had a problem with. Like he
I know
actually he added to the promo.
he made
Uh
sense. He fits his vibe with Trick. It fits.
yeah, and it's like obviously like even if he doesn't get into the ring, it's like as far as mic work, Little Yachty is perfectly fine. Like I can
Yeah,
live with I can live with
totally
that.
harmless. Totally
Even
harmless.
to
Totally
be honest,
harmless.
even Speed, like even Speed wasn't bad either.
Yeah, because you know you're not going to see Lil Yachty on TV every week for the next 2 years.
Exactly. Or even then, like at that point, like I mean, even if he stuck around after Trick won the belt, and for a little bit, say
Briefly,
like
sure.
if they have a PLE in like Atlanta, have that be his send off or whatever, like let him be in front of like I think he's from Atlanta. If I had to think off the top of my head, but it's like have a payoff in Atlanta or whatever, and then we'll be like that's good. But it's
Yeah,
like
and if he wants,
overall,
yeah, and if he wants to like do a wrestling move or take a bump or something, okay, whatever.
yeah, yeah, get as long as he's training, like no one would care. But it gets to a point where WrestleMania shouldn't be when WrestleMania season rolls around, it shouldn't be fans talking about how little story direction you have or how minuscule the promos are or how many celebrities you included into the pay-per-view. It should be about, oh, this is a payoff to something. Like remember the Jericho and Christian match at WrestleMania when they were like essentially it started over like the Battle of the Sexes thing. And like it that lasted for like I think like almost a year before they had that payoff with like Trish turning heel and like it was like a build up. No one ever said it was too. No one ever said it was a drastic story, a drastically long story. Jericho turned face in the
I feel
process.
bad. I feel bad for Trish during a lot of her time in the company.
Oh yeah, they had her in some shit.
That
they
woman
had
has been that woman's been married for like 30 years, and they had her making out with every fucking buddy on the roster. She
yeah
looked like the biggest snake.
yeah.
Where
They had her looking crazy. But I mean, hey, I mean, at least as far as
even
like,
make out with Vince once. Didn't she make out with Vince once too?
oh yeah, that was the first angle.
Yeah.
I think she was Vince's assistant at first, if that's what they want to call
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. And then she was like his love interest, and then like Linda was in like a coma or something.
Yeah, then she started trying to seduce Triple H with stretches and shit. It got wicked, but it's like like stuff like that where it's like there was years worth of build up, and there was always like, and the payoff always felt worth it, even if they had like maybe 2 or 3 matches that like were on pay-per-views. The build up, you like every week you knew at some point I'm gonna get progression in some way, shape, or form involving these two people or however many people are in the story. Now it's like in the case of like Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, who's had the most matches since this match has been official? It's been Rhea mainly on TV having matches. Where is Jade's matches at? Like even this Monday or even this upcoming Monday, it's Rhea and Io against the lackeys. No offense, but I'm just being. Let's just all be transparent here. Like the people that are doing Jay's dirty work are fighting literally for the third straight week in a row.
Right.
At this point,
Because of Jade's limitations in the ring.
exactly.
Otherwise,
And
she
the
would.
thing, yeah. And the thing is, like, she knows that. At least I think. Like, she knows for the most part, where she's at in the grand scheme of like, giving a good match. I don't think she's gonna stink it up, but if that's why they want to hold her back and just give her promos, I get it, but also she's gonna have to do something at some point. Because if you get to Mania and it's like, okay, if they're not written off in some way to where she has to like, put up or shut up, the match is gonna fail.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, write them off, or I don't know. Because it just puts everything in a weird spot. Because I don't know what EO's doing. The stable could be good, but
And the problem is, unless you're getting Bianca back,
yeah, because like she's working out,
or
and it's yeah,
yeah, unless you're getting Bianca back at WrestleMania or directly after, like like the Friday after.
yeah,
Unless you're getting that back, then Jade shouldn't win because then
exactly.
there's nothing left. But Rhea winning, what does that do? Because then what do you do with Rhea on SmackDown as the champion? Oh,
Call ups. That's the only thing with Rhea. Like at that point, the only thing I can think of is that if she's gonna be the face champion because JC just lost, if they don't make her chase the belt again, which I mean she's done almost everything there is to do in NXT, that's your new heel. Like whether it's Fatal
I wouldn't
Influence
hate.
or just her, like that's your new
I
heel.
wouldn't hate. I wouldn't hate heel Tiffany again.
Yeah, but would heel Tiffany and Rhea like click though? Which I
She
think they've
could.
had it back before, haven't they?
Yeah. Heel Tiffany is better than face Tiffany, and Tiffany did have a thing with the segment with Chelsea, so maybe
Yeah,
Tiffany gonna steer back towards heel.
yeah. But at that point, I
Maybe.
feel like yeah, if anything, at that point with Tiffany, I would say like as much as I would, as much as I do like heel Tiffany, I feel like that would be if they move her down to the women's U.S. title scene and it's kind of like a double flip where like now the fans like Julia and like her and Kiana kind of split off. I can see that being a better working feud for her, and it gives them a change of pace. But if they want to like shake up the women's division and like give people new faces to talk about, I feel like JC Jane is a good solution to that. If if
You'd
if
have
Rhea
your,
was if Rhea was to win, that's a good solution.
but then what do you do with Bianca? What do you do with Jade if there's no Bianca yet?
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah,
bump Jade down to the U.S. title division, or do you just have that group? You keep that group together and put them in the tag division and let them Freebird rule it to
I
hide
think. I
Jade's
mean,
limitations. But
I think at that point you can still keep Jade like main card to where it's kind of like Jade's still on the hunt, but obviously like JC Jane's kind of like more like new blood, kind of like what they did with like Trick Williams, where Mello technically isn't out of the scene completely, but clearly like everybody knows that like Trick's probably gonna win the title at Mania. So it gives the setup of okay, there's a chase going on, but also the it sets the table for bigger things in the future. Or who knows? In this case, they can still do like a working partnership where it's like okay, like it's like I don't know, they could have an internal battle with like say it's like Fatal Influence versus Jade's team in a battle for
maybe,
power. You know?
yes, maybe, or they just because they're not doing a draft, they shake it up and they switch some of the ladies around to freshen it up, whether Bianca's back or not.
Yeah, like like either way, they're still
The
gonna like
ultimate because the ultimate goal is Bianca Rhea. That's the goal.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like once that happens, obviously like probably in that case it'll probably be heel Rhea if they were to do that. Even though I would want it to be heel Bianca, I would definitely love it to be heel Bianca. But at that point, until that happens, they're gonna have to like give her new faces to like to go through. And I don't think Soul gets called up after what I seen last Saturday because if anything with Lola Vice being the champion now, I think that opens the door for like at least maybe Soul to win before, and then
And you could
Lola
say
gets
the
the call
same
up
thing.
instead.
You could say the same thing about the men, because
Oh, you talking about
Tony
like?
D won.
Oh yeah, but I feel like in that case, I would hope Ricky and Ethan are done. But knowing them, I don't know.
I
I,
mean,
I know Joe's probably gonna stay.
I mean, you can make a case for any of the three or all of them that don't
Yeah,
need to be there.
yeah. Shoot, even to be honest, Tony really with the new character change. I mean, I get what they did as far as like story completion, which I respect them for that. As far as like Tony did everything on his checklist, like
Right?
the whole thing with that, I love the payoff. But in the grand scheme of things, Ethan and Ricky should have been up a long time ago. And I think after like a pay per view like that, you can comfortably be like, okay, this is the new era. You bring in the guys from the ID program, which they already slowly have been doing it anyway. Like completely revamp, retool. You know, it's already a rework in progress, but they've been in dire need of like a shakeup for like the past, not even like for the past months, like since last year, I think. And them not doing a draft is just making people get stale quicker. And it could just be fans being fickle, but it just makes them a lot more stale because you're seeing either not their best work, like in the form of like who they're feuding with, or it's just dudes being faced for mad long, and there's just no crowd investment, no progression in any way. It's just weird.
Bring them up and give if let's just assume
Yeah.
staying in this. Although I mean, I don't think at the very least we're not going to see Pat all the time. So at least
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when football season starts, I don't think he's gonna be there that much.
uh, but do you have like some weird stable Rock or not where like maybe they both like we said it because they're both Cody guys and it would make sense for them to turn, or it's like do you have a
Mm,
Randy, Pat, Ethan, Ricky?
I guess I can see that. Because I mean, that would be similar to what he did in NXT his first go around, where he had the McAfee brand. I think it was
You've
him.
got you've got
It,
fresh
it, it
main
was him,
event
Birch,
heels.
and Lorcan, or something like that.
You've got fresh main event heels. They're over, and
Yeah,
if Cody wants another piece of Randy, he's got to
yeah, yeah. He has to go through his friends. Fair.
and he's yeah. So there's that breakdown of his mental character, where maybe this could eventually lead to like Randy goes back to being the actual good guy, and Cody goes kind of Homelander
Yeah,
because everybody's turned on him, and he's finally just enough. Fuck it, basically.
yeah. Because I feel like it's like he's kind of in that same position that I would put Rhea in, where it's like at this point, I don't want them to always have help, or at that point, you're gonna have to like have them face adversity as a character. Because I don't like has Rhea really ever faced like adversity like as a character?
Um, no,
Yeah, like
not
I don't.
really.
Yeah, like I don't think she's really ever had to climb a hurdle. Which in this case is like that's why I didn't want the EO assistance. I'm like at that point,
Even after the injury and the live injury and getting that wasn't really all that much. The
yeah,
her getting screwed by Dom, like, and then that leg kind
yeah,
of ended up with the injury, and then her coming back. Not really.
yeah. Like
So
it was like minute, and I feel like Cody's faced a lot of hardship, but I feel like they always brush it off as like, oh well, Cody's
he's
QB1. Yeah,
he's
but
super Cody, and even with the bloodline interfering and all this stuff, he still overcomes the odds. But
yeah, but at least
no,
in that
really,
case, like at least in that case, like the bloodline was giving him hell, and like that point, like he
I
faced a
mean,
little bit of adversity and it worked out.
the only real adversity Rhea's gone through is the fact that I do it yet. The only real
Yeah,
adversity she's gone through on the main roster even I guess going back before that is with Io. She's never beaten her. That's
Well,
it.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, she's never beaten Io. As much as
Yeah.
they love each other and they're sort of like slightly leaning into the like lesbianic stuff with them. I mean, whatever. But
We gonna
at
get
some
shit for
point,
that.
some point, some point, they're gonna cross paths again. Where one's the champ and Rhea, it's gonna hit her that she's never beaten Io, and love her or not, she's got to beat Io, and she might have to do whatever it takes to beat Io, even if it means heel.
Yeah. Man, it's like even to that point, it's like I feel like yeah, like in that case, they would have something to work on, and I feel like at that like after all the matches they had last year, I genuinely need them to like I would
Oh
like
yeah,
them to separate from each other for a little bit so that it like I said like it doesn't get too because like a lot of people can say like what they want about like oh yeah Rhea and Io had one of the best matches of the year at Evolution. It's like yes, but like how many times that year had they encountered each other? And how hard did they have to work to make that match feel different than all the other ones? And it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you're gonna have them like peel off and do other things to like make the match have more intrigue again.
yeah.
So it's like, but
Maybe you hold out the crown jewel and Rhea is the champion and Io's the other one.
yeah, that's a possibility.
Because when are they playing on? When's that? That's later in the year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but also with Io, I feel like Io needs to just have more like. It sounds crazy, but it's like,
she could be and she could beat Io and not take a belt from her.
oh yeah, like just like on some like
Because that's just for like the crown jewel championship. It's just the champs fight each other, so nobody's losing their belt. But Rhea could actually finally beat Io, but not take her belt from her.
also in so in this scenario, Io's the Raw champion again.
Yes.
Mm.
By that point, yeah, we're talking like 6 months from now. Yeah, and they can
Mm.
tell that story where it's not nobody has to turn heel, but Rhea can feel the pressure and maybe heal it up a little bit because she's never beaten Io, and it starts to get to her a little bit, and maybe she cracks a little bit, but they can have the match, and one way or the other, whether she heals it or not, full blown, she could beat Io, but Io doesn't have to lose a title to lose to Rhea. And there you go. That's done.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I always think about it with the women. I feel like they always.
If Rhea even wins,
Well, yeah, yeah
she's
hypothetically
won.
speaking, yeah, hypothetically.
And then
But it's like,
and then two, it still has the belt in 6 months.
right. But it's like even like that point, it's like now that I think about it, like, cause I'm not really thinking about like the Pat promo and everything. It's like I just wish they had more like storylines that could have payoffs that didn't involve belts. Like I get gold rules the sport, but there's not enough stories where like well actually I mean like there's stories with hate involved, but it's never like oh like just pure disdain. I don't want to see you happy. Skip a belt. Like I genuinely just don't like this
I mean,
person. There's not many of those.
Kind of like AJ and Becky.
Yeah, like they hated each other before a belt got involved, and then Becky was like, you know what, just to incentivize you getting in the ring, I'm gonna put the belt on the line. But obviously internally, well, at least like in story wise, it's deeper than that. It goes beyond, what Becky's done over the last like year and a half. Like,
But they didn't need the belt. They don't need the
ex-
belt.
exactly or like Obed and Brock. Obed and Brock is literally you don't need a belt for that. Like literally, it's just two of the top guys. Or Obed's on the rise, and Brock is, they still make ticket sales off of him at this stage. So build for the future, and also get your marquee matches off. Like they didn't like the Cody and Randy match. Technically, doesn't even really need a belt, But I mean, Orton is horny for 15, and as much as I respect Randy, at that point, I feel like you should just had a fatal 4 match, a fatal 5-way at that. You know, I feel like that would be better for all the people involved to have them all in a conjunctive story and have them just clash at Mania, and you still get everybody to have a moment.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. Because at this point, NXT starting to smoke them a little bit in my eyes.
I mean, just because of the fallout of Friday and the internal stuff that's like legitimately internal stuff, the next 2 weeks are going to be interesting. Because will there be some pivoting, or
Yeah, or not even like, or not even like, will it be pivoting? It's just like, okay, if they do pivot, will that pivot make sense? Because like initially, they pivoted they pivoted from the Drew McIntyre stuff, and it's like that initially was like, okay, like, you know, that pivot was kind of very rash. Then if they pivot from that, where do they go from here? I think it's good.
yeah, I just unplugged and plugged it back in.
Yeah. But
Punk and Roll. I'm Oba and Brock and Punk and Roman is kind of what I'm riding on. Pause.
hey, yo.
Well, Brock and Oba is going to deliver what I think it's going to deliver. It's going to be,
Yeah.
regardless of the outcome. I think it's going to deliver on what we think it's going to be, and I honestly believe that because we pretty much lock it in for one of the main events, we're getting a surprise. And I think that's the one where we get the surprise. What that is, I don't know. That,
Right.
what the fuck? But in a good way, I think it's going to be that. I don't know if it's going to be the Usos. I'm not saying I'm cool with the bloodline reforming, but it's in a vacuum. It's a moment. And we like, what the fuck? You could have it. It could be even more than that because, you know, Seth still has no love lost with Roman. He has no love lost with Punk. He has no love lost with the Vision. What if like all of them get involved? What if everybody who's like a quote unquote major player on Raw ends up getting involved in that match? Knight, the Usos, the Vision, Seth, Gunther, everybody.
Yeah, but then you kind of risk running like Elimination Chamber Part 2, where like the match itself could be good, but then it's like they'll do a post show and be like, well, we told you it'll get crazy, and you know, there's just gonna be like, you know, everybody got involved, the door was open for 30 minutes, you know, like it kind of.
But the end game could be some surprise turn or somebody showing up.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the match, and that was just like the wild backdrop to that, and it would just be fun.
Yeah, because I mean, I could see like Vision related, like say like maybe the Usos come out initially, then you get like they come down.
Where this time it's me saying, "My tribal chief, my tribal chief."
Did it flip? Yeah. Actually, but then I think about it.
Leaning towards a turn, honestly. I'm not predicting
from the two of them.
Yeah, well, Jimmy reluctantly, but yes.
I've been seeing a lot of people say that they like, based off how they've been acting, they see it as like the Usos probably like end up aligning with Punk to kind of like have Roman have like like an actual setback.
I don't hate that. Or the Usos turn on Roman and Jay decides he's the tribal chief now. And Roman ain't it, and they want to try to reform the bloodline. I'm not saying they do it, but they want to try to reform the bloodline with Jay saying he's the tribal chief now, and their heels, and maybe they do add somebody and they just think they're the bloodline, but they're actually not. And when Roman inevitably comes back, you get Roman and them, because the only other option would be what?
I mean, on paper, the only other thing I could think of is, good lord. Actually, now that I think about it, I just realized, in
It's
theory,
really convoluted a lot of stuff because Braun's been out.
yeah, but I
So
think it's like really like what direction is there after this match? Like, even like, because I feel like if Roman's champion, like, who would even be next after that?
as a Punk rematch, I don't know, because is Seth
Yeah, I
and
mean,
Gunther a one-off? Because Seth wants the vision. He certainly wants a piece of Braun, but Braun also wants the title, and there's an inevitable Braun and Roman match, I would think. So, like,
yeah,
what it
but
the
also the weird thing was though, like, because I don't know if you see like the article where they said that apparently Seth and Gunther was always the plan.
I don't buy that at all.
Oh yeah, it was confusing to me too, but it's like apparently I guess Braun has been cleared for weeks now. Don't believe that either.
No,
But
that's not true. That's not
yeah,
true.
like so yeah, I have to
I
speaking is
think
like if that's always been the plan, or even I feel like it's kind of just throwing Gunther like some random match though in the grand scheme of
what I
things.
heard what I heard was for a couple weeks. The idea was if Braun's not ready, it's going to be Seth and Gunther. But then at that point, you could have had at least Gunther do something, say something, show up on TV to at least hint that that could be the case if that's the way they had to go. And then apparently on Monday they went that route, but Braun was cleared Monday.
Exactly.
But they decided not to, at least that part of it, I get, not to rush the Braun and Seth like that when Seth just got back and Braun literally would just be getting back, rushing into that feud, and trying to start it in a snap. First match 2 weeks after. That part I kind of understand, but if I still think Braun's going to probably cost Seth the match, which will start
Oh,
that
for
feud.
sure.
But
Yeah. Cause
if
I feel like
we're
I feel like the
if
match can be good because obviously, like, this version of Gunther has been actually putting on like those classic matches that like people know he can provide, and it's
but
like
again, this is
Seth's not a
another
pushover. So
but again, this is another flaw in their thinking and their booking, and they're not forward thinking. Like, well, if we they knew they were going to have Seth,
right.
but they weren't sure about Braun. They could have even one time had some little nugget of Gunther on TV or Gunther say something about, you know, what something about whatever, at least leaves a nugget or a crumb that led to that moment where, okay, Braun's not going to be back. Seth nails Heyman and Gunther comes out and chokes him out. And it's like, well, it was kind of hinted at.
Yeah,
The,
they could have
but
like a backstage segment, like have
then it
Gunther interrupt in a segment and be like, "Oh well, I'm the ring general. I was champion for most of last year, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, and I don't have a match. What's going on?" And then in the middle of his rant, he's like, "You know what? I see the vision," and then he just comes out and chokes out Seth. Like, have to be a play on words. Like, I see the vision that I have for Mania, and then he just chokes
or
out.
like or but Seth or even says like all what you said, but like Seth Rollins has been gone for months and he comes back and he's in parts of the show and he's causing chaos when if I
Yeah,
do it,
yeah. Like
it
when I
I
do it,
get
I'm a bully.
fined.
But when Seth does it,
I get
the fans
fined or
love
I
it.
get suspended and I'm not on TV for weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And you know what? If that's what Seth's vision was before they turned on him or whatever it is, you know what? Well, I have a vision of my own. Choke him out. There you go.
yeah. And it's like all hypothetically speaking, because I think this will probably be out before obviously Monday, well, before Raw and everything. But this all could potentially happen. And by all means, if this does happen, Nostradamus extraordinaire. But
I mean, they have 2 Monday. They have two technically because of WrestleMania season. They can cross over. They have 4 more shows
yeah,
to do something to to, to
to
put some
spice,
logic.
to spice it up, put a little bit of logic into it. Which I mean,
If Pierce
yeah,
said, Pierce said Seth is opening the show.
yeah. So at that point, I mean, that's the only thing I can say. Like to an extent that sometimes, like I said, the matches they throw together or the matches that are like kind of like pivots, as you said earlier, they kind of pull shit out of their ass where those matches end up having slightly better like makeup promos than the matches they've technically kind of been had set in their mind for a year or
Right,
2 years.
because after he did it, they didn't even like people like, oh, Gunther could lead the division now, or Gunther could be a Paul Heyman guy, or blah 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 blah, or they could have it where Gunther made a deal with Heyman that he would take out Seth for Heyman in exchange for Brock. Problem is once he choked Seth out, Heyman was down in the ring.
He walked away.
Gunther barely looked at Heyman, didn't help him, didn't say talk to him, did nothing, just walked away.
Yeah.
So you didn't even have that little nugget of like, oh, him and Heyman made a deal. Okay, there's something.
Yeah. But even then, they also could spin back to it if they do it in SummerSlam,
They
where it's
could.
like, oh,
I mean,
like Gunther could be like, "I've already choked out one of your guys before. Brock's no different, or Brock's gonna be no
Seth
different."
is going to come out pissed off and talk about how he, you know, he wants to kill the Vision, he wants to kill Heyman and all those guys, and now Gunther's just been added to his list, yada yada. How much he basically hates everybody, whatever the case may be. Gunther's going to come out. Gunther's going to promo him. Gunther's going to say something that'll make you like, okay.
Yeah,
That's a
he'll
little
probably
fun
lock.
watch.
He'll find a way to lock it in. He'll find a way to lock it in.
He'll say something like, on a basic level, cool, got it.
Yep. But it's like, I mean, it's like so far. Hmm?
I know what he can do. What he can do. I know what he can do.
Yep.
Hope they do it. When Bruise of the Century, who lost that match?
Oh, you're right. Yep. Gunther lost that match to Punk. Yeah, that.
So Gunther could mention, I'm not done with Punk yet, but you took advantage of that,
Yeah.
or whatever it might be, and whatever, and there you go.
Because I mean, yeah, because like at that time before that match even
Treated me like
happened,
an
Seth was talking
like
with the briefcase.
treated me like an afterthought, and now because of you,
Yeah, like treated him like an afterthought. Now you're gonna be an afterthought after I choke you out at Mania. And who knows? Obviously, I don't think Gunther's winning for story's sake, unless
Gunther's
they. Yeah,
Gunther's winning. Gunther's winning.
I can see it, but I mean, like if they have the interference, of course, that makes that all makes a lot of
I
sense.
think that's if Braun is cleared, it makes all the sense to make sure Gunther winning is not a big deal. Is
Oh
Braun
yeah, because
interferes
that way it's not too clean, and
Braun
there's
interferes
like
in the match,
yeah
cost Seth the win, and it that could Gunther could still feud with Seth and whoever he wants to, but in the meantime, now Braun's back. Seth is focused on the Vision, has to focus on the Vision and Gunther, and who else knows? And at some point, you might have to have the two guys who arguably hate each other the most, and everybody knows it, not just on TV, work together against a much bigger threat because everybody else is against them. And you have to have an uneasy. No, they hate each other. They don't like each other off camera. Although I'm sure they don't hate each other as much as they used to. But then you have odd where Seth and Punk have to kind of Put it on cable, even though
Actually, now that I just thought about it. I mean, obviously, I don't think it will happen, but then I just thought about like a weird scenario where it's like they'd probably have like Gunther, the Vision, and like maybe like either one or two other people. And then I guess you could have like Rollins, Knight, Punk, and the Uso. Like I feel like I
if
hope that that's not the
if
plan because I don't
if
know
the
who would
Usos
I don't know who would fit it. But I mean, I have a feeling that that's potentially it. Like, 'cause they love doing like war games matches, and I mean,
it
maybe it
would
would make
depend.
sense.
I think part of it would depend on uh, is Randy getting is Randy is are the Usos turning heel? Is the division getting bigger? We don't know yet. I would assume they
Yeah,
will. We don't know, or if they'll still be a
yeah,
thing. We don't know, but probably
yeah.
Is Randy with a stable, so we don't know that part yet. To where they could end up like mixing, but I mean, if the Usos, because I'm leaning more towards I think they're turning on Roman, but
Which would be more interesting in theory because,
what do you? But then, and we don't know. We're assuming Brock's going to be done, but we don't know that for sure.
or at least on hiatus until. So I think SummerSlam's in Minnesota this year, right?
That's why everybody thinks that's going to be. That's why everybody's thinking that's it.
Yeah,
Because he
at
said
least
he's
like
not.
yeah, at least he'll cool off until SummerSlam in theory.
But if Brock's still around, it could be Brock Gunther in the Vision if they don't add, or some part of the Vision if they don't add to it, which I would think they would by then. Because even with
Oh yeah,
Bronson,
true.
Bronson would be back.
Oh yeah, yeah, Bronson
Bronson
could
would
be healthy by then. So like it could be like not Seth. It could be Logan, Theory, Bronson, Brock, Gunther, and then yeah, the Usos, Knight, begrudgingly
well,
Seth and
it would
Punk. Yeah,
depend. It could be it could be Gunther, Brock, Braun, Bronson, and unknown new member or something like that against. Or if Randy's like your super heel, what if it's Brock,
oh, they could merge the
Gunther,
stories.
Braun Bronson, and Randy
Yeah, could
against
merge the stories.
Seth, Punk, Roman, Cody, and pick a fifth.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, there would also be in some weird way, I guess, strings that they could tie that into. Because I mean, but if Randy goes off the deep end, then I mean, at that point, you can pretty much do anything at that point. But also, just in general, yeah, because like wherever Randy goes, you could say Cody is still attached to the belt and the feud from Mania if it ever heats up further. Because it could go into SummerSlam if they really want to like sell the Randy turn.
Good. It
Yeah, it
could. It
should.
depends on what
Yeah.
they. If Randy's going to win the match, it depends on what they do. Is Cody right back on TV, or does Cody
Yeah, no,
actually
yeah,
take
or yeah, they break again. Yeah,
time off for once?
yeah, but yeah, but I mean, this is really, really weird at this point when it comes down to it. Say like even when AJ Styles had said, WrestleMania has lost its luster. This like, and I know there's certain wrestlers who are very I think Mark Henry said he was very excited for WrestleMania, and I'm like, I don't know how Pat McAfee being involved in this storyline made him excited or more excited, but I mean, whatever helps him sleep at night. I don't know, but
I don't either. A
yeah,
lot of it's it's mostly bad that like we don't know anything. The build has been weird. It's been blah. But and there's like literally nobody knows what direction they could be going after Mania. But that's not 100% terrible, a bad thing. As much as bad as it is, it's not 100% a bad thing because they could literally a whole bunch of fresh new shit after Mania, and because of the build to this, it would be logical to do so.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, in theory, like, I'm like, I either hope they hit a massive reset button, which would involve, like, call ups. And hopefully at this point, I hope not hope well, I hope on everything. At some point they shake these rosters up because there's some guys that are really like deep under, like they've kind of been shelved or they just really aren't doing anything. Some guys got to be switched around. You got to do maybe like not like a bunch of call ups, like So I think last year, what was it? Only like really three, and they were all women.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, 'cause I think it was like no, it was Julia, Roxanne, Stephanie, and Jordan. So technically it was four. But like just make something shake. You know, pause. I had to think about it for a second. But yeah, like just some type of like retooling of something. Like you can still keep certain stories going, but yeah, I just hope for the best at this point.
I mean, like I said, we've got 4 more shows.
Yeah.
They could, at least in certain cases, they can fill in some blanks and make it some of this stuff more palatable heading into that weekend. And
Yeah. Because I will say last year was the
on
same
paper,
way.
on paper, this is a better card than last year.
Mm.
On paper.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like I feel like to be honest, I mean, last year's card was kind of underrated. Like like in a way, like I'm not gonna say the show was great because
Fair.
obviously, I mean, like there were certain matches that like Cena and Cody was like the ending was trash, like respectfully. But it's like the triple
I
threat
think everybody
match.
knew it wasn't going to be all that great. They were just expecting
They
something
were
other than
yeah,
what they
they
got.
wanted shenanigans. And then once Travis Scott started, kind of shitting the bed, it basically kind of he started shitting the bed, and then Rock wasn't coming. So it's like that was just it was what it was. But like the triple threat match, for as bad as the build was one of the better matches on the card. The El Grande in Phoenix match stood out for me because I mean that was basically Ray's replacement, and that was like that match made up for a lot. Um, I seen some highlights of the LA Knight Jacob match from last year. That was actually it reminded me how good that match was. It's like this year,
Yeah,
like you
it
said,
was
like
solid.
mm-hmm. You said
It
what?
was solid. I mean, like I said, I
Yeah.
don't. I remember the big moments, but I don't remember anything. I don't remember. I'm sure there was something, but I don't remember anything last year that was just like completely the complete drizzling shit.
I think there was
Now, I'm not saying
one.
it wasn't. I don't remember.
Um, I would say
I'm
AJ
saying
and
it
Logan
wasn't
Paul wasn't that great.
all that great, but I don't remember really anything being just like god awful.
Yeah. Well, actually, the only thing I can think of is like AJ and Logan because I genuinely don't remember anything aside from I was hoping they were going to do something with Karrion and Cross at that time, and they didn't do anything. We got the promo out of it, but I mean, they didn't do anything in that moment. And I think the tag team match, because I'm pretty sure it was like the New Day and the War Raiders, and I genuinely could not. To be honest, I don't even know if that was even on the show. But if it was, I don't remember anything about that match at all.
Um, I think it was very early, but it wasn't like a garbage match. I'm just saying we've been there, done that. We've seen it
Oh yeah, well,
a
yeah,
ton of
well,
times,
yeah,
but like what actually they did, it wasn't like the drizzling shit botch fest.
yeah.
It just wasn't. It was just. It was kind of like we've seen this before, like
Or
50
they, or they,
times. So
yeah, or they didn't really do anything like
they didn't do anything
different.
new or
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
So
there wasn't
then it's
like
like, yeah,
it was just there. It wasn't
yeah,
like
and it's
I'm
like, yeah.
like I'm where I'm unless somebody shocks the shit out of me. That women's tag title for Fatal 4 Way, that's gonna be the drizzling shits.
I think that match is gonna be good.
I
The only
don't.
reason, the only reason why is because like for lore purposes.
They're
Hey, not
sorry.
hey, Not ain't gonna put on a show. That's all I know.
Who?
Not the irresistible forces are gonna put on a show. But the thing is, no, the thing for me is this: if I had to think of like the only thing saving that match from being the drizzling shits is the fact that Bailey and Lyra are in it, and the fact that they like because Lash and Nia are in it. Other than that, I have no expectations for the Bella Twins at all, respectfully. And even Charlotte and Alexa at this point. Granted, Charlotte usually shows up for big matches.
But
So
it's also who are you with? Who are you paired with? Because I've
yeah.
been saying this about Nia for a while. It's like Nia's really good with the right person and the motivation, and with the wrong person,
Oh, you can be trash.
it's
Yeah.
right.
Which in this case, I feel like more or less like Bailey and
So
Lyra
if you have a
can make something
prolonged,
shake.
but if you have a prolonged period of even like a couple of minutes where her and Lash and the Bellas are going at it, that's going to be the drizzling shits.
You don't want to see Lash like knock out Brie Bella with a forearm?
Well, yes, but let's just be honest. The graphs are going to be the drizzling shits. I'd like to
Well,
add this.
yeah. I'll say this. Two-fourths of that match is gonna be trash. Actually, no, not
And
two-fourths. Like maybe
like to add this.
3/6 or 3/8 of it, probably.
I'd like to add this. I know you're a big Nia fan, but even you have to admit this. Fits are awful. The yellow plaid, come on, bruh. That is.
To be honest, the fit.
Like
Like I said, maybe it's the nerd in me, but I remembered like a team on the like it was like a female team on the Independents. I forgot what their names were. I think it was like. Oh man, I know one of them was like Valentine or something, and I don't. It's slipping my mind for sure. But it was like there was like a team on the Independents that were like literally they had similar gear, and I'm like I don't know if that was like a coincidence, but I didn't completely hate it. But I mean I don't know. I feel like overall like that I mean granted obviously I have decent expectations for that match because I mean I look at certain parts of them. I look at certain parts of the match to be like okay maybe they can make me care. But
I think if it was like black and white or black, white, and purple plaid or something along those lines, probably. But like that yellow, it don't do it. It don't work.
I feel like it was. I mean, I feel like it was looking hidden. I mean, because I feel like if it was purple, then it looked like Roxanne's debut gear. I think she did purple.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. The Killer Bees theme was fire. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't feel it for Nia. I think Lash can pull it off, but
I mean, also the Lash gear was made. It fit the plaid better because I mean it was more filled out. Like Nia's is more like if you're gonna do like the suit where it's like split, where it's like okay, plaid, then sheer, and then more plaid. It's like just a lot going on. I don't know how we got here, but
I don't even know if next weekend we're gonna be able to do predictions because I don't think they're gonna announce what's on what night until the last week.
Plus the graphics keep changing because the Money in the Bank, not Money in the Bank. The I'm getting confused. Where's the Money in the Bank? Oh, no, it's its own pay-per-view now. But the IC,
there's no guarantee that's coming back.
Yeah, true. Oh wow, they're getting rid of it.
Well, they've considered it, but supposedly, at least as of for Saudi got next year's Mania, which they may not have, because New Orleans wouldn't cough up enough money. They got that PLE, but there was no guarantee. There's been discussion about dumping PLE altogether.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, granted, obviously, I don't. Yeah, granted,
but doing the Money in the Bank matches, because now that SummerSlam's a 2-night thing, moving it back and doing the Money in the Bank matches at SummerSlam.
I mean,
they've considered it.
Yeah, it's not a bad trade-off. It's not a bad trade-off.
and then just have like another PLE. But that
Yeah, because then they could
I mean,
split them and just be like, oh yeah, like say it's women's night 1, men night 2, whatever they want to do.
plus if you go by the rules of the contract, you don't have to.
Yeah, they
You
have
know
a
what I'm
whole
saying?
year.
You don't have to. You don't have to. They don't have to feel rushed unless it's perfectly timed to have somebody like do like a Mania cash in. You could literally have someone in theory hold on to the next SummerSlam and cash in.
Yeah, kind of lengthens the tenure of the
Or if you
briefcase.
have or if you have a lull in the summer, you have that in your pocket as like a whole shit moment
Yeah,
during the summer.
yeah. But yeah, because I will say I didn't think about the fact that like predictions because genuinely like I don't even know what else they can add to this card that
Well, there's only 12, so there's two more coming. I just don't know what.
I'm not gonna lie. I swear, if like one of those 14 matches is Aleister Black and Matt Cardona in a street fight, I'm going to like
Don't think so, but I the
because
EOs and L.
I feel like in some weird way Aleister Black is gonna end up on the card, and I just don't know how.
But it's like EO and Oscar still gonna happen, and Oscar's
At this
gonna
point,
beat
I
EO in
feel
a
like
match.
I feel like it's improbable now. Like I feel like at this point, if they're gonna pivot to a match, it's probably gonna be Asuka and Kyrie, which isn't a bad substitute, but
And then what? EO's just gonna out
yeah,
wrestle and just like
yeah. When she showed
destroy
with
hell.
like that whole segment was basically like, yo, like forget me trying to help Kyrie out. I'm going to SmackDown to help Rhea Ripley win a championship. That was basically that's what I got from it, to be honest, because I genuinely don't understand why they would make her juggle saving quote unquote two friends for two different shows to just not have her be there for like WrestleMania or whatever, like to be at her
I
corner.
don't I I don't know. I don't know what else they could realistically do
Yeah, I mean, because I would hope
besides
not.
besides that. Just can't think of.
Because I don't think about like the only other women's match you could probably add.
Well, they haven't done that. The Usos haven't. That hasn't been announced, so that's one.
Oh, their rematch.
Basically, well, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a 6 man.
I mean, technically the
It's gonna be
SmackDown tag titles aren't on there either.
it's gonna be Usos and LA Knight against it's against Theory, Logan, and IshowSpeed. Watch
Oh God,
six
no.
man tag. Watch,
Oh
watch.
God,
But
no.
it's either that or you get Usos rematch for the tag titles and LA Knight against IshowSpeed. Pick your poison.
I mean, I don't think as desperate as they are for clips. I pray to God that no one in that writers' room is saying, "Yo, I show speed and LA Knight. That's good graps." I hope to God
Yeah,
that
same.
no
But
one is doing that.
realistically, with what they've done, it's going to be one of the two. Because I don't think they'll leave LA Knight off the card, and they wouldn't have this much IshowSpeed if he wasn't going to do something. So
I mean,
the two
like
options are
I feel like they could have him do like I feel like they could have him do like a segment in between. Because I'm not gonna lie, I would have rather seen Kid on the show. Because
but if they
I don't think
LA
that
Knight
Jelly Roll
showed
tag match is happening anymore.
LA Knight showed up at his house and attacked him.
Yeah, but
He's gonna
but he also threw him through a computer though, and I don't think that's gonna like incentivize Speed to want to get into the ring with LA Knight.
no, but if it's asked for, it could be like Division convince him we got your back. You can do this, whatever it is. It's going to be one of the two. Pick your poison. I think the 6 man's probably the lesser of the two evils, and
But it's like that's a nasty pivot. Because why are we doing it? It's like, I guess like I get they don't have Bronson. I get it, but it's like that's a nasty pivot. That's nasty.
well, because you're not going to leave. They don't. The vision is of like getting back towards what the vision should be because Braun's going to be back. that's like Tripp's like Bullet Club, so he can just take him out, put him in whenever he feels like it. Pause.
Yeah, but that what I put like this. Like, say if Braun's healthy, put him in the 6 man, please.
But you're not gonna leave the Usos off WrestleMania.
No, I'm saying I
So
get
it's
that. But I'm
either
saying, like, yeah, I'm saying like if you do Uso and Knight, and then it's like Logan, Austin, and a healthy Braun, I would rather they do that and
well,
just have
sure,
and
but
like you can still have Speed eat a BFT. Like, there's no way that you can still have Speed eat a BFT, eat a Uso splash. Like, you could have that segment in the match, but just in
but
for the sake of the match, not for the card being not completely mid.
but
Respectfully, they got
they're
to
not
do that.
they're not because Braun is cleared and they probably pivoted to Braun's going to cost Seth the match to start that feud, and he's going to show up there. They're not going to have his return in a random ass 6-man tag team match that we've kind of probably seen before, basically, where it's division against the Usos and LA Knight. We've seen different versions of those guys 8,000 times in the last year.
That is fair, but also in this case, in this scenario, which is what I'm kind of hoping also happens, because technically Knight and the Usos have been butting heads for the past few weeks. If they do it, like, yeah, let's say if they do it in this case, yeah, like,
match, though, that could be the intrigue of the 6-man match where the Usos get kind of heelish, or at some point they somebody ducks and they get out of the way of like the double super kick and LA Knight takes it, where they're more heelish. They could leave him to lose, something along those lines that adds at least something to the match that makes it like, well, all right, that wasn't the shit.
yeah, I'm saying, like, at that point, like, if they do that, and it's like I say, in the case of, like, say, like, if you have Braun included, then it's like, all right, bet have the Vision, like, after the Usos leave LA Knight for dead, have them beat the brakes off a Knight, and then depending on like what night they even put the match on, like, because it could be a night 2 thing. Like, say it's night 1, you do the Vision and the Usos, and then night 2 is like, bet, Braun, sets his eyes back on what actually matters to him, and he dismantles Seth the next night.
But they like those like nowhere surprises. It's more likely Braun coming back when everybody thought he was going to come back this week, and he's not going to be on tomorrow, I don't think. But the surprise return would be costing Seth the match. That's a bigger wow than him returning to join his stablemates against the Usos and LA Knight when they've done this 1,000 times.
I mean, yeah, but it's like
shock for him to return, to show up out of nowhere. Maybe even have Seth's masked guys start surrounding the ring or whatever it is, and they get taken out by security, and then one's still there. Seth runs into a spear. Off it comes. It's Braun. And the crowd goes nuts, and they're barking.
But also to that point, right? For unless a person does not have internet, I think everybody knows that would be like the easiest thing for them to do. Unless we don't got the internet, as far as like everybody knows Braun's coming back. So at this point, and also, like you said, like, as far as like the shock factor of it, once they revealed that he was in the gym, they killed it already. So at that point, you can kind of bring him back whenever.
There's still, does he interfere in that match, or is it theoretically possible that they don't do that, even though clean finish in Seth Gunther, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And they save Braun for the after. People are surprised that he didn't show up at Mania, but he shows up at the Raw after.
Yeah, they could. They could.
Happen, but it's possible they could. So there could be, if there's at least some suspension of belief that, like, oh, Braun's absolutely showing up at WrestleMania. Well, there's a small chance they don't.
Yeah.
Because everybody believed he was gonna show up, because when Seth came out and hit Heyman, the crowd was barking. So they knew.
Well, yeah, because they presumed that, oh, like, oh, this is the perfect time for that to happen.
Because people no, because a lot of fans saw him enter the building. He was
Well, yeah,
only
probably,
wearing a
yeah.
hoodie building, so a lot of people knew he was there. So when he did that, they were barking because they knew he was in the building, and then he didn't come out. So some people are going to think he's going to show up tomorrow. Some people are going to think he's going to show up the following Monday, and then that's like, well, then he's definitely going to interfere in the Mania match. But there's a small chance they don't do that either, and build and
Yeah,
build
they
and build, and then
keep building it
after
up,
Mania
yeah.
he shows up. But it's more likely he's going to. The biggest uh, is going to be he cost sets a match because that's logic.
Oh, yeah, like, for sure. It's just like, the one that I'm thinking about is, like, they booked themselves into, like, such weird positions
Sure, of
that
course.
it's like, I don't know. It's like, to be honest, like, and even then I get, like, they've been doing celebrity interferences for years. I'm not gonna say, like, it's completely, like, like the Andy Kaufmans, and, like, they've done this before. But at least those actually made sense, and those were ones where it wasn't meant to be oh, let's get views on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. It was like, oh, these guys want to get in the ring and they take it seriously. They respect what we do. Let's, like, let's give them a match. In this case, it's like they're doing things for, like, obviously, I mean, I think Speed and, like, a lot of those guys care about wrestling, obviously, but is it enough to be like, oh yeah, we genuinely want you involved in our stories? I don't think it should be that.
No,
But I
it's,
mean, yeah, they want clicks and shock value for people who don't have, like I said, for people that somewhat, or not, I would say people that don't have internet, for people that genuinely just, eat up whatever, like, the Mark Henrys of the world, those guys are gonna love it. But for people that genuinely just, like, love, like, the graps and the art of things, making sense, it's just a waste. At least in my mind, it seems a lot like a waste.
I mean, look, the best we can hope for is they have 2 Raws and 2 SmackDowns before Mania that they flesh out some of these things a little bit more to make it less like this Mania is going to suck,
Oh, for sure.
which they can do because right now people are conditioned to like if you give right now people are so down low that if you give them any little nuggets to flesh it out, people are going to be like, oh my god, they actually did some storytelling. That's how bad it's been.
Yeah, and really, like I said, last year it was like a similar type of
As
trajectory.
I
'Cause I'm not
said,
gonna lie, there was no hope for last year in theory, and then, outside of a few inklings of, okay, this was good, okay, this is serviceable, okay, this is passable, and then the main events kind of being your only, well, the beginning and the ends of both nights were the only things that were, like, of note or memorable for most people. If you people were to poll them and be like, oh, what do you remember from last year? You remember that
I wouldn't
triple
be
threat
surprised.
in the
I,
main events.
I kind of think Brock and Oba is going to be night 2, and I think they're going to open.
Well, I think, wait, is the grainy graphic night one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
They
okay,
haven't.
yeah,
Nobody has said.
yeah. Cause I know they swapped the IC title graphics, I think, which makes me think that that's night two, like the futuristic joint. I feel like that's got to be night two.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if Brock and Oba opens.
Like night, yeah, I feel like night one they're probably gonna, they might open with them, and then they might close with. But then again, I'm not gonna lie, Punk and Roman had the futuristic graphics, so who knows? Maybe maybe it
No,
could be the way that I'm thinking.
Punk and Roman's definitely a night 2 main event.
Yeah, so I'm thinking at that point, like, realistically, like, anything that has, like, because I know Dom and Finn is definitely probably gonna be, even though I think last year they were night two, I think for sure they're night one
I
this
think they're
year.
going to be. I think they're going to be night 2.
Yeah, I can see them being night one just because they're they kind of like,
But
depending on
I
what Finn
also
does,
saw.
I can see them being night one.
But I also saw something where they're having like some sort of like fan party meet and greet thing, like Sunday afternoon before the show. And
Yeah.
I think Lexi and Trick are going to be there, which tells me they're not wrestling that night. They will have already wrestled, and they're on night one.
Oh, you're talking about like Lash and yeah.
The 4-way, and then Trick and Sammy, or Trick Sammy Mello. Hopefully, those are gonna be night one, because they have something on Sunday afternoon. I don't think they'd have them do that and then wrestle that night. So they're probably night one matches.
Yeah. Well, then again,
I
who
would
knows?
guess.
Or then again, like they like pause, but they like cramming a bunch of stuff into their time slot. So I mean, they could be night two, but they could like be like
For Mania,
later
though,
later
I
in the
don't know.
night probably. Potentially
The only
though.
thing that Cena's doing a live Undertaker podcast,
Yeah, what's that,
but
Saturday or Sunday? What's that,
um,
Friday actually?
no, it's one of the 2 days. I'm trying to remember which one. It's one of the two
Yeah.
days. But that makes sense because he's hosting the show. He's not wrestling.
Exactly. And plus they said like, oh, like that's the only way you'll get to see it. Somebody's gonna record it. I mean, I'm not gonna be too upset about it. At least I
I
would
don't remember which
assume.
day. I don't remember which day. I saw it because Undertaker's
Yeah.
got like a little theater or something for a live taping that weekend, and
Yeah.
Cena's doing it. So, but
Yeah. It's
if
like
that was correct, logic would say that the 4-way tag title match would be Saturday, and then Trick and Sammy, or Trick Sammy Mello, again, I hope,
hopefully.
would be Saturday. Because then,
Yeah.
then Sunday afternoon they have that appearance that they have to do. They're not wrestling that night, and then I would assume they're staying in town because Raw would be Vegas.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, that's the norm.
Yeah, like they stayed the night after, yeah, for the most
They
part.
usually do Smack, because last year Raw was
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah, Raw was in Vegas and I think SmackDown was on the road, I believe.
SmackDown was like SmackDown was in California, but it wasn't very far.
Yeah,
They were in
like
California,
couple minutes away
Sacramento
from
or
where they
something.
were.
Or Sacramento or some shit, Anaheim or one of those two. Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't far.
But
Because I don't think they could have got the arena the whole week. So
yeah. But it's probably about it. At least for now, at
yeah,
least. Until,
yeah,
we get
for
a
your
little more information.
yeah,
Yeah. But also, yeah. I'm trying to think. It's ready to be the end of it, I think. It was supposed to be something last week, but the audio and stuff kind of messed up. So that was on me. But at least before this week's Raw, this should be out. Also comment down below what you guys think. Like, what are you guys looking forward to for Mania? Do you think it's gonna live up to not live up to any expectations? 'Cause I don't think it really has any. But do you think Mania is gonna be?
Are you looking forward to how tired we're going to be on Sunday night because we're going to sit through all of this stuff that
Yeah,
weekend?
about to see, yeah, ESPN for an hour, or the first, was it like the first hour or the first 2 hours?
First hour
Yeah, like the first hour on ESPN, and then
on like free
yeah, for
ESPN.
free
Yeah,
for both nights. Actually, I know I'm gonna be gassed because there's a lot of indie shows that week as well. So I mean, I'm probably gonna need a lot of prayers in some form or fashion. Um, but
well, I think just we'll just have to like end it because it'll be tiring. I think like once the show's over, like thoughts wise, just have like would just close can be a little shorter, and then maybe the beginning of the next, like
oh yeah,
the beginning of
recap, kind of
Sunday,
recap it.
we'll
Yeah,
expound more on the previous day, and then Sunday we can you know,
yeah. But I mean,
and if we
yeah.
have to, after we could record after Raw on Monday,
I like the Raw after, just in case.
kind
Hopefully,
of
it's
like,
something exciting.
and then
Hopefully.
do like a weekend recap, and then like supposedly the Raw after Mania is supposed to be some wild ass show, although last year really wasn't.
Well, I mean, last year we got. Did we get Stephanie? Oh, I think we did. I think we did. I think it was Stephanie and Io, but it got interrupted, I believe.
But I mean, as far as like big
Well, yeah,
returns and surprises and all that,
debuts and ooh and ah. But I mean, I'm not
absolutely
gonna lie,
exactly.
but I gonna lie, Stephanie at that time, hey,
That was good.
that match
Yes,
was
that was
gas.
good. But what you would come to expect from the Raw after Mania wasn't it.
Yeah,
So
but I'm not gonna lie though,
we need
like respectfully, we need low device.
we
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 not
nobody
whip not whip but we but we. My bad, Damien. I'm sorry. My bad, bro.
just be happy with fucking uh, Jordan coming back.
Oh yeah, Jordan Grace on some Jordan Grace. I just caught on. I'm thinking straight grabs, and then I had to think. I'm like, yeah, this.
Oh no, her grabs are no, she's got grabs.
Yeah, but I mean, before she got injured, they weren't talking about them grabs.
That's booking's fault. That's not her fault.
Hey, if you look good, you look good. But I mean, I'm saying like before, or I said like the Jade match wasn't bad. The Jade match was
No,
low key kind of good.
it was bad.
Yeah, but yeah. Comment down below what you guys are feeling. What can I say? Oh, hopefully I figured out also like the channel linking thing that we talked about as far as like it being on all three. I did find out how to do that too. Probably after this.
Worst case scenario, couldn't you just
Oh yeah, worst case scenario, I can just like send the file over and then
send
yeah.
the file? Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't figure it out, I'll just send the file and then respectfully, whichever channel you are subscribed to, or you can subscribe to both because they'll both be in the description at some point. It'll be on all three in some form or fashion, whether it be linked or separate uploads. Probably not all within the same day, depending on how YouTube like takes to upload, but they'll all be there.
As long as it's up, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. But what else is there to add? Oh, social media. Twitter at PTP_99. I have been tweeting a lot more often, but yeah, and then
Tony the Real.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, just Twitter.
Yeah, not the
just Twitter.
Yeah.
Or X, whatever. I don't give a shit what you call it.
Yeah, X, Twitter, cesspool, whatever you want to run with it, it's fine.
That's what I was thinking. Cesspool.
Yeah.
No offense to the good people in the wrestling audience. There's
yeah.
Y'all waiting around it. Y'all just kind of like in the shower.
Yeah.
In the deep end, there's the garbage.
Yeah. Also, just as like a a little bit of like a push to like how fast other content gets out like after Mania, because I mean this is like kind of like a speeding up process since it's been so long. But if you help us get, I'm not even gonna say 2,000. If y'all help us at least get to, I'd say that 500 to 1,000 sub range around or after WrestleMania, G will get naked. It's either that or in some way of, I don't know how this would work, but we could also do like a poll and be like, oh, have like we'll do like a watch party type thing where it's like a specific wrestler's matches and then we stream it. Like it could be good or bad. Like it could be matches from, it could either be matches from like John Cena in 2005, or we could watch Disco Inferno in WCW. The realm is
all right, stop. I'll get that.
You don't want to watch Dan Gilberti? Hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you or night, whenever you guys come across us. And yeah, more content to come. It is WrestleMania season. While it might not be as exciting, you know,
It's
still
still WrestleMania.
yeah, still WrestleMania. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.